What is going on, YouTube? Today we got Hims earnings, and so I'm gonna give people a little bit of time to go, get into this, and then I figured we could talk about what our expectations are. If you guys have any questions, I'll go over my estimates again. Everyone's seen them, but in case somebody actually comes from YouTube, I want them to know what my estimates are going into it. So I know we got Danny in here. He's an OG. So I actually want to start off. Danny, I want to know, what are your expectations? You haven't told me yet. I actually haven't seen you comment at all yet today. I want to know where your head's at. So, yeah. And then I was looking at the market today. I was kind of not looking that much. It kind of seemed dry to me. It was all SaaS sector today. But Zeta's pumping once again, if we have any Zeta bulls in here. So that's awesome to see. It almost hit $28 earlier. But, yeah, Hims. Man, oh man. I actually think my estimates are low. And I was thinking this before I saw other people's estimates, which most people have their estimates where I'm at. The only person I actually saw higher was Hims House. And they were higher by 10 million. But the reason I think they are low, this is something I've misinterpreted, and also other people who follow the company have misinterpreted, because I've heard them, there's this idea Eli Lilly doesn't make you any money. And the truth is, we still make money off our weight subscription with Eli Lilly. And Eli Lilly dropped a really good quarter. And honestly, one, I was only baking them into as they'll bring customers over. But you're going to make all that subscription revenue, and I noticed I didn't jot down a guide. And Hims House dropped their guide, and they put 850 million, but I think they undershot it. Now, I don't know what Hims House is actually going to guide for. I mean, not Hims House. Hims is actually going to guide, but for example, Hims supposedly is going to do an extra 100 million quarter-over-quarter in revenue, and that's not including all of eucalyptus. That's only a quarter of eucalyptus. So you're going to have 3/4 of eucalyptus, continued international expansion with the Wegovy pill that's been rolling out in these other countries, and then you have all these weight loss members who started their first month at $39 a month. So you're going to get those customers paying an extra $110 a month. So $100 in 10 months, a quarter reoccurring, assuming not all these members, which we know, not all these members joined at launch. Some of these members joined in June, for example. So they might have just paid $39 in all of Q2. But then, fast forward, you're going to get 3 months of that, assuming they stay. And they just rolled out multi-month GLP-1s again. So now we're going to see more bulk purchases, and yeah, you get a little bit of a discount, but you're locking in and you're going to have better retention because of that. You can't churn off of it. So I actually think guide is going to be really good, and I kind of wish I made a guide. But for example, Hims House has 850 million. I'm banking it's higher than that. What is up, Lil Nut? Or Alexandra? I don't know why it says. Yeah, I'm gonna get clipped for that one. I'm not gonna lie. What's up, Alexandra? So let's go through my numbers real quick. For anyone who didn't see them, gotta find the tab. Here we go. So here are my numbers. I'm going to actually have this when we go through the presentation, because I'm not going to remember every single thing I add. But yeah, I'm expecting 742 million in revenue, 703 million organic, and organic's what I really care about. If, for example, I could be off on eucalyptus. There might be, for some reason, they didn't recognize the full quarter even after the deal was closed right away. Little accounting things. But for now, I'm expecting 39 million come from eucalyptus. That means 22% growth organically. Now, if they do higher, I think it's actually insane that we're talking about a world where Hims could possibly do 30% organic growth, which would be insane. Because if you grow 30% pretty much quarter over quarter, you're on pace to do like 120% this time next year. And by this time next year, we could be talking about peptides rolling out. And that's why I catch it so hard when people want to be a bear on Hims. And like this happened yesterday. I was like, why are you bearish on Hims? And you know what? I watched them continue answering on that thread. They ignored my tweet. Like most bears don't know why they're bearish. They just know that it's a hated Finex name, and they can't give you a real reason because they just know them as like some copycat drug, but they don't actually know any economics of the business. And then my favorite thing is when they say, yeah, you make money by reselling other people's products. What in the world do you think a freaking retailer does? Any retailer in the world. What does Walmart do? What does Costco do? Like, you can't even argue. And then people would say, well, Costco has Kirkland products. Hims has products. They have hair loss products. They have ED products. They hopefully soon are going to have peptides. Those are going to be their products. They could compound GLP-1s in the future. They got semaglutide in Canada, so they have products. So even that doesn't make sense. Anyways, off my rant. So gross margin 69 to 70%. Honestly, that might be a little too bullish. We got adjusted EBITDA of 59 million, a little bit above their 55 million target, high end. And then GAAP EPS of -3 cents, which the street's expecting -5 cents. So we'll see where that lands. Also, let me know what you guys think of the meme content I've been dropping lately. I've been having fun creating all of the memes. It's been a good time, but sometimes I feel like people think it's overdone. I don't want to overdo it, but I think it's like marketing 101, and I have fun doing it. I was a big fan of my, I don't know if you guys saw this one right here. I was a fan of this one. So shout out to everybody in the stream because I was proud of that one. Or my favorite by far was this one.
Will be delivering its best quarter in company history. More shorts will be burned, and more bears will turn bullish. Shout out Paul Sero, by the way. Also, you better tune into Fundamental Investing stream. No one knows the company better than him. Not even myself. On Monday, Hims will be...
Shout out Paul Sero for being a bull now. I know he's not in here, but if he was, I would actually love that. But yeah, what are your guys' expectations? I need to hear. Or are there any other tickers you guys have been eyeing today as we're just like chatting a little bit as market closes? Hims was actually green today. Oh, this was actually the other thing I wanted to talk about. A lot of people on X, they've been saying pretty much everyone's taking a bearish take. They all think the stock's going down. And I originally, I agreed. I wouldn't say that I thought it was going down, but after talking to some TA guys, I was like, you know what? I could see this thing going down, but I was happy with it going down. I'm actually sitting on like quite a bit of capital with that where everything's at, and so I actually wanted to take a hit and then sell like a ton of cash secured puts because I don't see it breaking 20, and collecting those premiums. They're 100% doing that because Alexandra said that they hope they raise full year 2026 revenue, and it's a guaranteed because they don't have eucalyptus in guide. So now they have to put eucalyptus in guide, which I've seen people say this, that they're a 450 million annual run rate, and I just want to remind people that I think it was the CMO of eucalyptus. I don't know for a fact if it was a CMO, but someone high up in corporate over there. And she put on LinkedIn when she was looking for people to hire that the company is a 500 million annual revenue run rate. So, split that up. I think it's like quick math, like 125 million a quarter. No, yeah, 125 million a quarter. So you have like 250, yeah. So yeah, 250. So 125 next quarter added minus the 39, I assume. So that alone should add like 90 million to next quarter, assuming it all is linear. So we should expect a huge guide and another big jump, I feel like, in Q3. And they're growing sequentially 30%. Or not sequentially. Sequentially is quarter, right? But they're growing yearly by 30%. Agree, but if HIM starts to drop after earnings, what's a good target to buy at? So for me, not financial advice, by the way, but for me and what's historically worked for me, and I believe I have a pretty low average, my average has been $20, is I add 24, okay, anything under $24 I technically add, but $21 to $24 tends to be like this resistance band that tends to get bought up. It doesn't usually go under that historically since I've been buying it for the last 2 years, unless very bad news happens. And in the two instances that I can recall it happening was one, you guys probably remember, the Novo lawsuit, and the second one was the yen carry trade, when like it was like August or something. I remember being at like a family thing, and I remember being like, "Oh, we're about to go in recession." But that was back when I was like new to the market, and I think it like fell to even like $13 back then. But you got to think the company was way smaller then too, and also I believe it was still unprofitable at that time. They might have just been. I think they might have just been turning a profit, but yeah, they were still young. I mean, I can even look at the chart actually and show you guys when this was real quick. Let me share. So this would have been right back here. Yeah, it would have been this right here. So yeah, we got to like, at that point though, like our high was $25. You got rejected, and it sat in that $24 band I was talking about. And then that yen carry trade day, in which I thought the world was ending, got back into the teens, and we recovered back up. But like historically, you can see this is like pretty strong resistance and support, and it pretty much this was Novo. But outside of the Novo thing ending, it's acted back as support. So 24 is kind of my target for just slamming cash secured price. But like I said, not financial advice. Biggest HIMS risk. Okay. I would say the biggest risk to HIMS growth in the next 12 months would be, I want to make sure I actually give what I believe, so give me a second. I would say the biggest risk, in which I've actually kind of been wanting this for a little while, is the fact that the Novo partnership is a verbal agreement. I would like to actually see them be like, pen and paper, 7-year partnership, locked in stone, like they're married together, or something really has to blow up. Like, I don't like that tomorrow there could be a headline and be like, Novo doesn't want to work with him. And I don't know if there's an issue with doing so because a HIMS or even like a Roe, they're trying to partner with like Novo and Eli Lilly and just like other drug creators. So I don't know if that's what kind of causes the issues, because it's not a one-on-one deal and like you're only going to work with us kind of thing. But knowing that any day something could happen, blow it up, that of course is a major risk. Now, do I think it's going to happen? No, I think that's all behind them, and the way HIMS has changed their tone tells me they're behind trying to compound. I think they would rather focus on their uh, focus on the weight loss plan and adding benefits to that to make it a no-brainer. Uh, Things we don't talk about much is, because I was kind of looking into it, like, why would you pay for the Hims membership, which is like $149, and then the drug? And then so I started looking up, like, okay, how much would you pay for the drug from Novo, but then you have to go into the doctor's office rather than a video call, and then get prescribed by a doctor. How much does that cost to go and visit? I think it was like, usually like $50 to $100. But the difference is with Hims, you get to meet with your pharmacist once a month, and you continue to pay for it, but you're also paying that fee monthly, so it really doesn't make a difference. You just get to do it from your comfort of your own home. But with the member benefits, you get, other access like the 8 Sleep and the, I'm trying to remember what the other thing was called. But by building up those benefits, you are creating a better ROI for the customer, and you're making a better no-brainer. And if you are getting other treatments from them as well, maybe it just makes sense. Like, okay, I can just meet with my pharmacist at once, talk about the 2 treatments I'm doing, and they can see my historical records versus, the doctor who maybe I'm not insured with. So I guess there's a bunch of things that come up with it, but yeah. But I think being able to continue adding value inside the platform, and I think that's a big thing that the peptides are going to do, is once you have peptides, you can take advantage of the margins those are going to bring, and you're going to be able to lower the weight loss plan. And then GLP-1s are going to look like more of a no-brainer, because you're no longer paying 2 times the price for the GLP-1s. You might be paying, maybe that $39 a month actually becomes a reality, and it's actually just $39 a month. Because once you get your dosage figured out, you'll still do the once a month check-ins, but it's literally going to be a pop-in visit. You talk to your doctor real quick, tell them everything's good, and that's it. And you get paid $39 a month for that, just to keep sending them the drug Novo's sending them. So I do think that is an end goal, and that is another bullish part of peptides eventually coming. And that is something else I'm looking for in this earnings call, is I want to see how hormonal treatment is doing. That's kind of like the other big product for Hims outside of GLP-1s. So I want to see how that cross-sell's been doing. Is the cross-sell healthy? Because that's something that can contribute to margins a little bit, and, help just relieve the business as much from relying on the partnership as much. So yeah. What other questions do people have? Are there any other tickers people want to see too? I'm game for showing off whatever. It looks like Hims is gonna end the day green. SoFi's red for any SoFi bulls in here. We got Zeta green. Palantir is continuing the run. Palantir's been insane, and it went exactly where I wanted to, but I had no capital. I was actually wanting to buy Palantir for a little bit, especially when this crap happened. Didn't get it. Well, Palantir is such a great business. I don't know if there's a company that executes like Palantir. Like, NVIDIA executes, but there's just such high demand, but for their GPUs. But Palantir just delivers results. IBRX. Let's look at IBRX. Down 1% on the day. Holy crap. What is this from? I don't know much about IBRX. I'm assuming they're drug discovery, so I'm assuming they had a test trial that went well. What is the... I'm blanking. What is the cancer company Hims works with again? Oh crap, wrong screen. Hold on. Hold on. I don't know what happened. What is the cancer company that Hims works with again? There we go. There we go, I fixed it. Cancer company linked to Hims. I haven't heard anything about them for a while, so I kind of want to see what they did on earnings if they reported yet. Grail, that's right. Grail. Grail's doing quite well, but it gapped down. Hold on. Okay. Danny, don't be nervous. I have a good feeling. Like, for once, I'm actually not nervous. Like, we finally are turning the page is how I feel. I'm, like, there's no doubt in my head that, one, they're beating the street. I think they beat, and maybe it's just my own conviction doing the numbers, and I'm going to feel a lot different if they don't beat the highest on the street that I saw was 730 million in revenue. If they don't beat the street, I might actually have to like question some things. And by beat the street, I mean mainly revenue. There might be like some sort of, gap EPS like hit due to stock-based compensation or something stupid. But I really do think I think my number is low. I really do. I think they beat my number, no doubt. And I was pretty conservative. I was very conservative. That's the other thing I want to talk about real quick. Do you guys think that the Hims and Hers app downloads have been slowing? My theory is it's been slowing because they stopped investing so much on customer acquisition while they work on these app downloads. Like, they just relaunched the Hers app to do for the weight loss AI. I think they are working on relaunching the app, so they've for a second stopped investing so much in customer acquisition. It shows it on TradingView. It's gonna show it on a line. Now, I was trying to try Webull, and it was making me try and make an account, and I don't have an account with Webull. Let me see if I can show you guys on Robinhood. I was low-key trying to not show too much of my actual account, if that makes sense. Give me a second. Let me full screen this. Let me see if I can show you guys on Robinhood, because I know you guys will probably like it more. I gotta log into the app. Alright, let me find out. I gotta pull it up. I'm gonna find out how. Is there a way to go to the? Do you guys know how to go to the Legends thing where it actually shows the candles? Oh, here we go. Green, continue. There you go. Hold on. Alright, I gotta pull it up. Just give me a second. I'm re-pulling up the tabs that I actually want up on my computer real quick while we go through this. Alright, and then I'm gonna pull up the actual Hims earnings page, so I have it up when the results actually drop, which I believe the results drop at 4:05. That's usually when all the results drop. I know some companies do it weird and they'll do 4:15. I can't keep track of all of them. Alright. This should be the right page. Okay. There we go. Is there a way, do you guys know how to do candles? Chris said he thinks that we sell off. That's actually what I was talking to people about earlier. I've been hearing everybody expect a sell-off, and so I want to say we pump. But my initial belief was we were going to sell off before I really started looking into what people were telling me. And earlier in the week, like last week, everybody was saying we were going to pump. And then as soon as Monday comes, people got scared and everyone's saying we're going to dump. So the TA guys say we're going to dump too, because we were in a rising wedge and it broke back when we had that nasty dump. It was off the lawsuit. That's when it broke. And then because that broke, that's why TA guys say we're going to dump. I believe fundamentals that shock to the upside, in which analysts, the highest analyst is 730 million. Granted, there's always a whisper number, but the highest analyst is 730 million. I have 742 million, but I also say that I think they beat my numbers. And if they do, I don't know. Like, can the market fade that at that point? That's kind of like the question you have to ask. And the biggest thing I would say is, and the biggest thing I would, I guess, bring up is, I find it, and I realized this when I held Zeta. I realized this when I held Hims in the past, and realizing it a little bit now. Sometimes the market doesn't care about how fast you're growing revenue. They care about how fast you're growing EPS and when you're actually profitable. Sometimes they don't even care about you until you show you're profitable. And so Hims could also be faced with that, even though they've shown that they can become profitable off weight loss. The market may force them to prove that again. And in the past, when they were stuck in that kind of scenario, we traded between $20 and $30 for the longest time. So maybe that's the case here. Maybe we chop until 2027, which sucks. Don't get me wrong. The beauty of it is selling options, you make so much premium on this thing. That is like the only positive in that scenario. But I am hoping for a pump. But at the same time, if we get a dip, like I said, that $24 zone has been so strong, I really do want to load up on cash secured puts. I really do. I think it'd be easy money. I could buy it back in 2 weeks when it goes back to 30. And I can use it to fund whatever else I want to use it on. Chris said, to be honest, I care most about EPS and subscriber growth this quarter. We all know revenue will be a beat. Yeah, I think subscriber growth is the biggest one. Subscriber growth, long-term retention staying at 85%. I would like Hims to, once again, they were very aggressive about that lawsuit. I don't want them to bring it up, but if it is brought up, I'd like them to just say, yeah, it's a load of shit, and move on. Kind of like their remarks they already made. called it baseless, and now it's swept under the rug. The market just closed, so this is about to get real. I'm gonna check latest. If I go to the earnings correspondent page, will his page update right away, or am I better off sitting on latest, do you think? I usually wait for it to show up here because he's so quick, and then I go to the presentation because the presentation can be slow sometimes. But yeah, I was also saying, Chris, earlier, I don't know if you were in here, I think the most important thing for me outside of revenue and subscriber growth, because those are the two given, I think EPS can have like external hits for like amortization and like just like depreciation stuff, and the fact that they just said they wouldn't be profitable till 2027. So we're going up. Let me check. Nothing yet. But yeah, I think the most important thing to see is cross-sell. I want to see cross-sell with hormonal treatment continue to increase. It's supposed to be like the next best line for him, so that would be nice. And also more people getting on labs because of cross-sell. And more product launches. If they talk about some products they have coming, we had in February that leak in which we thought statins were coming, but nothing's happened since that leak came out. So I don't know if they're even planning on launching anything or if they're just focusing on scaling. Come on. It's going to come at 4 or 5. I'm going to keep on the chart. Chris said cross-sell will happen, of course. Since the second Novo deal, we should see a lot of new subscribers on long term. This will be good. I agree. And that's really where the bull case starts to kick in. And that is another catalyst that people don't realize is a catalyst, is Retta coming, like some people know, Retta coming in 2027, those are going to be more weight loss members. Yeah, we don't have a partnership, so we don't get to win on the economics of the product, but we do still get to benefit off selling the weight loss membership. What is up, DME? How are you doing? It is 4:03. The earnings should be coming out in 2 minutes. We were just talking about what we were looking forward to seeing in this earnings outside of revenue and subscriber. Like, what is the next thing that you want to see in this report that will get you excited? Chris said, bro, I see you all the time on X. I randomly went on YouTube for a live stream and saw your name. No, what? Do you follow me on X? I'm curious, because I was posting all about it today. But I do know, like, a few people, like, Stalker Man's a popular one. He's known for the Spider-Man thing. He didn't know until I commented. And so it's always hard to know who sees your content on X. Sometimes I don't see people for, like, 2 months, and I'm like, I have not seen this. Like, despite the fact that I follow them, just the feed doesn't show me them. So it's weird. I feel like a lot of the same people get sent my stuff. Charles says, about time someone streamed Tim's earnings. Have a good feeling there will be a lot of people streaming in a few years. Yeah, people used to do it. They stopped, so I started doing it last earnings. Last earnings, we had 1,100 people in here. It was wild. And so I'm hoping to be able to do something similar. The report should be out in a minute, so I'm going to keep refreshing this to make sure that we catch it. But yeah, no, I wish more people would stream it. I actually, next earnings, I should actually have someone on here with me. So this is going to get better. And I actually do have something I want to announce later. I meant to announce it earlier. You guys just reminded me. So once we go through the numbers here in a second, I'll do that. But going forward, when I'm streaming these earnings, I'm not going to be tweeting as much during the stream. So if you guys want my reaction, instantly, it's going to be on these streams. Just a heads up. So like Zeta, Hims, whatever. The report, I believe, should be out. It's not out yet. Maybe it's 4:15, but it's not out yet. I can also look up the earnings correspondent real quick if I need to. Are we moving? Oh, $1.80 up, I think. I can't see both of them. I have my thing on the other screen. My stream on the other screen. Oh, there we go. 753 million. 699 million estimated. And then 2Q operating expense 570 million, 8 million, 490 million. Let me go to the exact numbers. Hold on. Earnings. There we go. Here we go. So they missed on EPS. But I'm not really worried about EPS. That's going to happen during this transition. And then we got 753 million. Hold on. Let me actually go to the real page. There we go. Okay. Investor presentation. All the BS stuff real quick. Holy crap. Can we get some numbers, please? 1600 plug. So this is the same, 51.9% there. They kept the 2030 guide the same. Financials, here we go. Revenue growth. So 2.9 million subscribers. Oh, okay, they might round up. Hold on, they might round up. So you got monthly average per subscriber went up to $92. They did 753. That's big. That hints at cross-sell. I guess that also hints on just GLP-1 adoption because it costs them $149 just for the drug alone. Payback period went down in 2025, so never mind. That doesn't matter. That was the same. Less than 1 year. Scalability of our model enables consistent adjusted EBITDA profitability. We invest behind long-term opportunities. Q1 2026, 8%. So adjusted EBITDA went up. That's good. Roughly 500 basis points of our market leverage year over year. Growing scale has enabled investment across engineering AI. Sequential operating leverage more than offset Q2 headwinds. New specialties and a more comprehensive personalized experience position us to scale and accelerate growth through 2026. So they're now expecting that they raised guide to 3.1 to 3.3. Now, we were talking about this earlier, and that should be from Eucalyptus alone. So they didn't really actually raise their guide. That should just be Eucalyptus, because 250 should have been added, and we were already at 2.8 to 3. How red are we? Hold on. Okay, $30 is not that bad. 30 is not that bad. We'll see where it goes. But like on a chart basis and like upward trend, I don't even think that's a newer low. So, yeah. I can actually zoom out. Yeah, 30 is not that bad. I don't even know if that's a low for today. Yeah, we opened a day, it was pretty much there. So, that's like nothing. Let me go back. Significant investment in targeted M&A are enabling international markets to quickly become key growth drivers. International did 131 million. Okay. I want to, real quick, I'm not going to be able to see the chat for a second, so I'm sorry if I'm not interacting here for a second. I'm pulling up my article. I want to compare all these numbers for you guys while we're all here, because I broke out international and all of those, so I want to see where they stood. Here we go. So I had international at organic at, well, I guess organic, it still included some international. I don't think I did break out international alone. Yeah, I didn't. I just did eucalyptus alone. Never mind. Alright. We got strong balance sheets enabling investment across multiple opportunities, reinforcing our long-term trajectory. So, operating cash flow, negative 36, free cash flow, negative 68. This is down from Q1. Over $840 million in cash. Investment provides flexibility to opportunistically deploy capital. Cash flow profile enables ongoing infrastructure, technology, and AI investments. $225 million remaining on our $250 million share buyback program, which I believe is the same as last quarter. I think there was $225 million left. '26 outlook anticipates an accelerating growth profile and consistent adjusted EBITDA generation. So full year, 275 million, 325 million. Does anyone know if that was increased? We got 85% long-term retention still, strong unit economics with payback period less than a year, evolving model. Hers expected to reach 1 billion. International becomes material incremental growth driver. Capital investments in 2026 are focused. Okay. International, rapid scaling, accelerating new specialties, increased breadth and specialization. I really am not surprised with this report. Rocket Lab is dumping. I don't have an opinion on Rocket Lab. I think space stocks in general are pretty expensive. And I just think it's a theme that's in right now. And it honestly happened because of the SpaceX IPO, in my truthful opinion. I think ASTS is super expensive. I would not be shocked if ASTS is dumping. I will actually look at ASTS right now because I'm curious. I think it should be dumping, unless if they did something on earnings that was crazy. They're not doing anything. They're flat. Have they reported yet? Does anyone know? But I have no thoughts on Rocket Lab without looking at them, but they trade expensive. And I do understand. I remember listening to Matt Money talk a little bit about them, but I don't follow them that much. But I guess pretty much everything that gets launched into space, I think it was like, you might have said 60%. Well, honestly, it might have been higher. It was like, out of all the things that get launched into space, like a certain amount of percent have a Rocket Lab logo on them. And I was like, okay, that is like, you know, you're clearly dominating in that market. My issue is, I feel like forever we've been saying we're going to explore space, and space is going to do this, that, and the other, and just nothing ever has like materially happened in my lifetime, despite us talking about it my whole lifetime. And so, when something's so speculative, I have a hard time paying up that high of a premium for it. And I do think Rocket Lab is doing some good things, and I think ASTS is doing some good things, but I'm not going to pay, 20, 30 billion for a company like ASTS, for example, that doesn't produce a lick of revenue right now. And then they push back their timelines. They miss pretty much every single earnings. It reminds me of Elon Musk, but without, their CEO having the track record of three like life-changing companies in Tesla, Neuralink, and SpaceX. So, but I'm not. I want to hear the commentary that Dudum and them give on this call, because I'm not shocked about the EPS hit. I didn't really know what it'd be, so I put 3 cents, kind of assuming like no investments. But at the same time, you're expanding the Novo launch in these other countries, so that takes scale. So you're going to lose, like they say, their payback 6 months. You just brought on 200, 300 million customers. So, like we said, payback. They're only taking on $39 a month that first weight loss subscription. So you're taking all these losses, but they're going to materialize as they stay with the company. And then at the same time, they're relaunching their Hers app, and then launching the Scale, which they were probably working on in Q2, if we're being honest. It launched in Q3, but it probably was being worked on inside Q2, and that investment is going to get seen in this quarter. So we'll just have to hear what management says in the call. If they say, I don't know, what would they have to say that would make me like mad? I don't know if the spending just seems, if it seems like they're overspending on stuff that doesn't matter, that would be a red flag. Because you got to build an ecosystem, but at the same time you work on scaling profitability before having a Mark Zuckerberg mindset where you're just going to spend on a bunch of things and wait for something to take off, per se. Well, I don't think that's the case. For example, it could be as simple as something with like stock-based compensation. I need to see what time this call is actually at. But I did want to say that let me go full screen real quick. In the future, like not that far in the future either, I will be doing these a daily show pretty much. So I have some like pretty cool guest stars in which I will do like TA Sundays. I have a guy he's really big, and I'm really happy that he's going to be doing this with me. And I think you guys are going to be super happy when you find out who it is, because he's massive. Like, my account, cool as chill, 5,000 followers. Like, I'm talking about this guy. You guys love him, because you guys have to love him. If triple digits, 6 figures, and followers follow this guy. So, very cool that he wanted to do this with me. I told him, I was like, I understand, I'm a small account. If you don't want to do it, this, that, and the other. But he was an account that showed me love when early on, and actually he followed me first. And then he DM'd me one day about something. And then after that, we'd always been in touch. And so I reached out to him, said he wanted to do it. I was like, sweet. I was like, I have this idea, this, that, and the other. I was like, I want to make it happen. He's like, I'm down. So we're going to have like a daily show. So like that will be on Sunday nights. And then I have another good friend. We're going to do a market show on Thursdays. I'm going to find a way to fill in the other days of the week, but we'll do like a stock tank show in which I want to invite random people on X who are bullish in companies that I don't necessarily follow, to just like let them pitch their stocks. So we'll do that, and that gives people an opportunity to get on X. Maybe they'll find out that they want to do this YouTube thing too. So it just gives an opportunity for you guys to get to know some people on X through a stream rather than just their tweets. So I thought that would be cool, because you get to see their perspective and them talk about it rather than just seeing what they tweet. You never know what goes in behind a tweet. So you kind of get to hear them voice their reasoning and their thinking and explain their thesis. So I thought that'd be cool. I wanted to just have another day where I invite someone on from X, and we just chat about market stuff, maybe what went on in that day, but it just gives you once again a chance to listen to someone reason their thesis and understand the way they think a bit better. And yeah, so I'm excited to show that. And no way Hims is actually green. What in the world? I can't even tell what this line is. Hold on, there we go. Hold on, I'm gonna pull up the earnings call real quick, and then I'll share my screen again. Okay. Does anyone know what time the earnings call is? If so, comment. I'm hoping it's at 4:30. It's at 5 o'clock, so we have a little while till Hims goes live. So what are your guys' thoughts on this quarter? Let's go back through this now that I actually have time to go slow. Okay, the stock's actually green now. Okay. Let me minimize. I'm going to pull up. I want to actually compare this to. So, my numbers beside their numbers. We're going to go one metric at a time. So I had 2.86 million subscribers. I still want to know if they rounded up. But adjusted EBITDA, so they got it for 75 to 95 million in Q3. What did they actually do? They didn't give us a guide last quarter for GAAP EPS, I guess. I had 59 million for GAAP adjusted EBITDA. I feel like they beat that, didn't they? Yeah, so I said 59 million, they did 60 million. And then what else did I have? I had the subscribers, I think they beat for now. I did put rest of world revenue. So I had rest of world revenue at 122 million. And they beat that. They did. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure they beat all my numbers. Maybe something like the margin percentage is off, since my revenue was off. But overall, they beat them, and I'm assuming that's because they leaned into growth. And it's kind of the same idea with SoFi. It's like, lean into growth, you get them in the ecosystem, they stay with the long-term retention, and eventually you can pull that back, and the flywheel keeps going. Okay, where? I passed it. Rest of world revenue. Dude, there are too many slides. 2.9 million subscribers. Yeah, they don't tell you the exact number. They might tell me down lower. That 2026 revenue has to be low. I want to know why they didn't raise it. Like, they raised it, but from what I believe, they only raised it for Eucalyptus. I would have thought the lower end would at least get raised, I guess. Yeah, so they did 131 million. I had 122 million. So they beat me there too. And then if I go down, I should be able to see like the actual financials. So yeah, 42,000 was stock based. Okay. So they had a hit on legal contingencies. Oh no. Those are all positive. Impairment, interest income and expense, and benefit. I'm confused. I feel like they did this backwards. I'm confused because how does it go from negative 86 and these are, the parentheses are negative? I feel like they did it backwards. Did they not? Am I dumb or did they not do that backwards? Give me 1 second. Is that better? I don't want to like destroy your guys' ears. It shows that it's in the red though. Is the mic? Let me know if the mic's better. Let me know if the mic's better. If it is, I'll keep it like this, but it shows it in the red now, so that's why I had it lower. I can actually pull it up. It is better now. I can pull it up on my stream to hear, I guess. Keep it like this, but it shows it in the red now. Alright, I'll keep it like this. I don't know why my mic, sometimes I have to lower it, and then it gets, because it gets staticky, and then other times I have to. I have used the computer before. I don't know what you want me to do. I can turn up the filter, actually. Give me a second. .89 subs. So, okay, yeah, they did beat me on that. Hold on, let me turn up the filter on this. Audio. Output. Filters. Does this make it better or worse? Tell me if this makes the mic better or worse. I turned down the suppression level. Let me know if you guys can still hear the washer and if you can hear me better. It's a rodeo. Or road. Hold on, I can find the exact name. I bought it low-key like 3 years ago. Yeah, it's a Rode mic. bit muffled. Yeah, it's plugged in. It's plugged in, and I have this handy dandy. I can't pull it in, but it also controls the volume. But I have that turned up all the way. That it plugs into, because it can't plug into my PC because of, you know. How's that? Let me see if I can actually find the software. Road Central companion app. I downloaded it. I honestly didn't even know it had a software, so maybe I've never used a computer before, I guess. Accept. Yeah, next. Install. I got you guys giving me a computer lesson right now. Just, I think it'll be not muffled once I download it, but if I have to fix the suppression, I'll put the suppression back to normal. But right now I had it at like minus 30 decibels, that way you guys didn't hear the background. For now, it's downloading. Should I keep going while it downloads, or wait? We got 30 minutes, so I'm cool with taking my time. Alright, low key, if you're still in here, Eli, I'll show you the settings, that way you can tell me which I should adjust it to, like what sounds best, since you kind of know what you're doing, if you're still in here. If not, I'll just play with it. And margins did fall. I said this already. Margins fell to 64%. But I said already that before we even got into that, I thought my 69% was too bullish. Oh, it just finished. Finish. Now where do I go? It just disappeared. Do I just have to re-find it in my files real quick? Your computer's asking you if it's okay to download. You're plugged in to a new mic. Accept it. I accepted everything. It went off my screen. Okay. Like my computer settings or different settings? Alright, I'm in settings. Loki, you guys better not hack me real quick. OBS settings, okay. Alright, I'm in my settings. Julian, I'm kind of more different. I think they're leaning into growth, and with the transition, there's of course costs that come to that. It's kind of something you have to let pan out, but the growth trajectory is there. I mean, they just grew subscribers to 2.9 million, revenue's exploding, so we'll have to see, them just continue taking the right steps to get back to profitability. But their payback period isn't for 6 months, so I mean, it all kind of makes sense. You probably won't see that first quarter of profitability until, honestly, with how many more customers, how fast they're going to be growing Q1 of 2027. The call starts at 5 o'clock. And also, Eli, I am in my settings. Your computer is defaulting to your computer's mic. You need to select the new mic that you have set up, which would show in OBS when you select mic. Hello? Can you guys still not hear me? It says my mic's working. Okay, it's... Dude, why is it so bad? That noise isn't even in here, that's why I'm confused. Oh! Hold on. That noise isn't even in here, that's why I'm confused. Does that work? This should... Oh. Hold on. Tell me if that's better. Does that Hold on. I had my mic unplugged somehow. Now I have to turn off the mic. I had my mic unplugged somehow. Now I have to turn off the mic. Oh, you think? I turned the phone off. I feel like I messed something up in the settings now. Tell me if that sounds better. Default. Output, software. How does this sound? Oh, brother. Does it still sound poor? Desktop audio. Yes, okay. Here. I'm gonna share these settings real quick. Eli, I need you look like you know what you're doing. What do you think I need to turn off? My first issue, I think, was somehow my mic got unplugged. I don't know how. I don't touch it. I leave it over on the left. But I noticed it was unplugged. So I think it activated. See, but that is what I already had. Hold on. You guys are going to see yourselves real quick. Yo. You know what? My OBS is tweaking as a whole. I might have to just end it and come back in. Hold on. My whole thing is tweaking. Hold on. It won't let me even click stop stream. It's my whole thing is tweaking. I promise you my whole thing is tweaking. I'm spamming the button. I can't even stop stream. Hold on. I've turned off my